Has the United Healthcare recipients in the villages been deceived? A firm earned $5.6 million guiding the village's health to its bankruptcy. A convicted child molester checks into a village's hotel. Officials questions the ability for the developer to hand out guest IDs to prospective homebuyers. A villager stopped for speeding attacks a deputy. Villager, wearing camouflage Crocs, keys a Mercedes over a dispute in parking. 2 more restaurants coming soon to the new Publix Anchor Store shopping center. How many holes in one's golf do we get this week? Letters to the editor. This and more. Coming up. Let's get right into it. The village's health is the number one report concern right now to everybody living here and those that are considering living here. Have United Health members in the village's health system been deceived? The village's health patients received a letter dated November the 7th from Bob Tren, the CEO of the village's health, stating that Centerwell Senior Primary Care had completed the acquisition and substantially all the assets of the village's health. Keep in mind, Bobby Tren, CEO. He's the buck stops here guy. The letter further explained that Centerwell is having ongoing discussions with UHC for the potential agreement for 2026 and beyond. If no agreement is reached, Centerwell will be unable to accept UHC plans starting January 1, 2026. The cell assets of the village's health included 8 primary care centers and 2 specialty care centers, serving over 55,000 patients in the villages. A significant number of those patients are United Healthcare members. Mr. Tren, the CEO of the village's health, has stated numerous times in previous communications the village's health patients and the community at large that the sale to Centerwell will result in continued access to your current health insurance provider, and patients should expect that patient care to remain the same and that members will not notice a change of their services. Sanjay Shetty, MD, president of Centerwell, continued to ensure that the transition between the village's health and Centerwell would be a seamless transition. And yes, we've been told that 100 times, in letters, in writing, seamless. Know what that means. Mr. Tren also echoed this by continuing to state in his communications that all patients of the village's health can expect a seamless transition for all patients. As a former healthcare executive, the definition of seamless transition has not changed. It means to have a transition that is uninterrupted without any noticeable changes or difficulties. A seamless transition in a healthcare acquisition, such as in this situation, should mean that the transition is going from one entity to another without patients noticing any changes. Every high-level care executive should have integrity to always lead with honesty and truthfulness. It appears that this may not have been the case with Mr. Tren from the village's health and Sanjay Shetty from Centerwell. Currently, all U.S. Health members in the villages are now in an unexpected, highly stressful situation. Many of these members are elderly and vulnerable. They now face a daunting task of possibly needing to switch insurance companies to keep their providers as in-network, or find providers outside the village's health, 8 primary care centers and 2 specialty care centers if they wish to stay in a United Healthcare. Open enrollment for dropping or switching to another Medicare Advantage plan started on October 15th, but will end December the 7th. Time is running out. The health and well-being for the United Healthcare members within the villages is at risk. There needs to be an agreement made in good faith quickly between Centerwell and United Health. Failure for an agreement between United Health and Centerwell will be nothing short of appalling. If that is the final outcome, all United Healthcare members within the village's health will find that they had been fooled and deceived. That's sent in by Carol Ann Wolf of the Village of Hemingway, which is a former healthcare executive. This is coming from somebody from the inside that's been there, done that knows, and she knows. Here's what I'm going to say, because I'm not on the inside. I'm on the outside looking in, but I can tell you I've been coming to villages for a long time, and we're in a whole different generation. This is not Harold Swartz retirement community that once was here. 1, This Trend guy, and that's what I'm going to call him, he's not very honest. He's not an honorable person as far as I'm concerned. He should have been fired. Why is the CEO who was in charge that watched all of this happen, $30 million gone, and he's the guy in charge. He's the guy that's got the sign on the front desk that says the buck stops here. You remember that from Harry S. Truman? That's this guy. And he hasn't been fired. And as far as I know, no reporters came out where Trend, the Village's Health, the developer and his crew, the insurance companies have been investigated about this. Nowhere have I seen an investigation that's told anybody, where did this $330 million end up going? Is it 10 million over here, 20 million? Where did it go? As a taxpayer and a Medicare recipient, we have the right to know. I'm going to say, right, Governor DeSantis, make yourself known, make your voices known. This is crazy. This is just absolutely crazy and deceiving. And, there's an old saying, warning, if language offends you, leave my channel now because you're going to get some. If it smells like shit, and it looks like shit, it's probably shit. And this stinks. A New York firm has earned $5.6 million for guiding the Village's Health through the bankruptcy process. A final invoice from Evercore Incorporated, a global independent investment banking advisory firm, has been included in federal bankruptcy filings in the Village's Health case. The Village's general counsel, Brian Hudson, brought Evercore into the fold on July 2nd, according to the engagement letter on file in court. It was at that time that the Village's Health CEO, Bobby Trend, sent a letter to all 55,000 patients with the shocking news that the Village's Health was filing for bankruptcy after a mysterious and yet unexplained $360 million Medicare coding error. Most of Evercore's workforce on due diligence and making sure the bankruptcy sale went off without a hitch. In addition to Evercore, the Village has hired Neil Luria of Solic Capital's Advisors as Chief Restructuring Officer for the Village's Health. Luria was earning $150,000 per month for his services. Their efforts paid off with a $68 million sale of the Village's Health to Humana Centerwell. In the near future, signage will be changed at the Village's Health facilities to reflect a new ownership. Evercore's final bill included its initial restructuring fee of $5 million in addition to charges of $200,000 for August, September, and October. Evercore is also seeking $42,936 for reimbursement for legal fees, travel, and meals. You guys tell me, what do you think? Is this just business as normal? Or is this just the way it is? Or do you say just change your insurance and move on with your life and don't worry about it? Somebody's got to be held accountable for this. Trend, in my mind, has to be number one as far as being held accountable. This stuff is going to have to be investigated. It's just got to be. If it's not investigated, then as far as I'm concerned, that opens the book for anybody to come into a place like a retirement community like this one and just rake us over the coals. Who's going to do anything about it? And keep in mind, that part of the report here in the past, I think I reported it, somebody had said, and I don't know who it was, it ain't me, I'm just reading you the news. Somebody had said approximately, I believe it was $140 million ended up in the developer's company's pockets. He's got so many companies, I don't know which one. If that's true, this is wrong. This is embezzlement, and this is fraud. This is deception. And, back in the day when we had the mafia, the RICO Act came in. They put your ass in jail. And maybe that's what needs to happen here. Ever since this fourth generation came in, this place has went to hell in a handbasket. An official has criticized the developer's ability to hand out guest IDs to prospective homebuyers visiting the villages. Visitors on the lifestyle preview plan get a chance to sample the pools and pickleball courts during their stay in Florida's friendliest hometown. Many are so wowed by the amenities in the villages that they sign on the dotted line and buy a home before boarding the flight back home. That's true. That is absolutely true. However, Amenity Authority Committee Jim Vaccaro believes the existing homeowners in the villages are picking up the tab for the developer sales pitch. The developer is giving away thousands of guest IDs, and we are paying for it, Vaccaro said. He said he is also concerned that the developer is collecting amenity money from renters at the new apartments at Spanish Springs and existing apartments at Brownwood. In addition, the developer collects the amenity money from the new Marbella villas that have been constructed where the former Hacienda Hills Country Club was located. However, Deputy District Manager Carrie Duckett explained that lifestyle visitors are considered residents. Let me say that again because I got a point here. Carrie Duckett explained that lifestyle visitors are considered residents during their time in Florida's friendliest hometown. This is their home. With amenities paid for by the developer representing the guests while they are in town. The arrangement for the 300 amenity privileges covering the apartments and Marabella villas dates back nearly a decade to a pact between the developer and the AAC, explained by former AAC member Carl Bell. Here's my opinion, and you ain't gonna like it, but I'm just gonna lay it out there. I always have, and I'm going to continue doing so. If what they're saying here, let me repeat it one more time. However, District Manager Carrie Duckett explained that lifestyle visitors are considered residents during their time in Florida's friendliest hometown, and there is a home with amenities paid for by the developer. If this is true, and if this is the rule that they're going to enact, everybody out there that hates the idea of Airbnbs, forget it. You're never going to get rid of them. Airbnbs is going to follow the same rule. They're setting precedent right here. If they can do that and say, well, they're renting that house, that's all he's doing, really. He's running a rental company, and they're calling it a lifestyle visit, probably for legal reasons there. But he's just renting a house. What is it, $100 and some dollars a day? No, $90 some dollars a day, $90 a day. And with that, you get this and that and something else. Whatever it is, he's renting that house. It's a rental. Airbnb will be here forever. And maybe they'll get worse. People find out about this. If they watch me, they're going to find out about it. And this is going to make it worse. You're never going to be able to get rid of them because they can always come back and say, you do it. Why can't I? And they may take it to a small claims court or a local court, and they're going to win. A convicted child molester has checked into a hotel in the Villages. Jeffrey Robert Corson, 65, of Kirkland, Washington, checked in Thursday at the Waterfront Hotel on Lake Sumter Landing, according to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. He has registered a temporary status at the hotel. He was convicted in 2008 in King County, Washington, of 1 count of child molestation in the first degree and 2 counts of child molestation in the second degree. He has not registered a vehicle in conjunction with his visit, according to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. There you go. A villager was stopped for speeding, was arrested after she got belligerent toward deputies during a traffic stop. Karen Ann Pizzurro, 75, of the village of Hadley, was driving a white Honda when she was pulled over for speeding at about 4 p.m. Friday in the vicinity of Morris Boulevard and Stillwater Trail, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. I know that vicinity very well because I used to live right in that area right there. It's a great area, great location. I hate it, people like this is making those areas look bad. During a traffic stop, deputies learned that Pizzurro's license had been suspended as of May 14th. Pizzurro became irate and demanded that another deputy be called to the scene. I always find that hilarious. When a second deputy arrived, Pizzurro lunged at the deputy who had made the original traffic stop. She was handcuffed and began shouting multiple profanities. She initially refused to walk to a patrol car. When Pizzurro, who was arrested in 2015 for shoplifting at Walmart at Buffalo Ridge Plaza, was being booked at some kind of detention center, she refused to cooperate with detention staffers. She is facing charges of driving while license suspended and resisting arrest. She remains free on a $750 bond. Makes you wonder when somebody acts like this. Drugs? I'm just looking at her face, and I'm thinking drugs. But apparently they didn't do a blood check on her, so I don't know. Maybe she's just a nut? A resident of the Cove Apartments in Lady Lake was arrested for driving with a suspended license and without insurance in the Villages. A deputy spotted 28-year-old Alicia Renee Green driving a red Ford SUV westbound on County Road 466 on Falou Run at about 8 a.m. Saturday, according to the Rush Department of Sumter County Sheriff's Office. Law enforcement database showed she did not have a driver's license. Seeing this, the deputy stopped Green near the hacienda of Mission Hills. She advised that she was pretty sure her insurance had elapsed, and indeed it did on October 13th. The deputy also checked her license and learned that it had been suspended indefinitely 2 times for unpaid traffic fines. An additional look at her criminal history showed she had a prior guilty conviction for driving with a suspended license on June 11th out of Lake County. Green was subsequently arrested on a charge of driving while license suspended and failed to have motor vehicle liability insurance. She was transported to the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting $1,150 bond. I read this only for a couple of reasons. Mainly is these roads are open to the public, and whenever you're in this retirement community, you got to be careful because people use these roads all the time going to and from work. I also read it because the price of things are just on our insurance, especially here, just getting out of hand. There are some insurances I'm reading reports that is almost doubled since a couple of years ago. It's just crazy. And so when I read about young people, and I've said it before, I'm very sympathetic. I was lucky enough to grow up at a time when we had babysitters. We didn't have daycare centers. And I read about these women with 2 and 3 kids. They're single and they got a job, but I mean, it's not the best paying job. And they're doing the best they can do, and then they got to pay daycare. I don't know how they do it. And on top of that, groceries, on top of that, insurance. I sympathize. I don't know how they do it. Okay, I grouped together another group of DUIs. There was several of them, but I picked out 3 that I thought was pretty good. An 80-year-old villager was nabbed on a drunk driving charge while driving home from a birthday party. Margaret McDonough of the village of Sanibel was driving a white 2022 Hyundai Elantra shortly before 8 p.m. Sunday when a 911 caller reported to law enforcement that the vehicle was traveling significantly under the posted speed limit down Buena Vista Boulevard near County Road 466A, according to the Rush Department of Sumter County Sheriff's Office. I laugh because there are so many elderly people here. They drive significantly under the speed limit all the time. A deputy spotted the vehicle and activated his emergency lights in an effort to initiate a traffic stop. However, McDonough continued driving for another half a mile before pulling over. She probably didn't see you or hear you. I'm picturing her, steering wheel's up here, right? And women, this mirror means nothing. It's a makeup mirror, right? Anyway, I'm sorry. The Philadelphia native was asked why she was driving so slowly and responded that she always drives slow. She said she was heading home from a birthday party. It appeared she had been drinking. She struggled through field sobriety exercise and provided breath samples that registered 0.180 and 0.171 blood alcohol content. She was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $200 bond. I sure hope somebody come and picked her up and you didn't want to drive home. A villager has been arrested on a drunk driving charge after a crash near the Morris Gate. Michael Laturiat, 66, who lives on the historic side of the Villages, was driving a Ford Mustang when he was involved in the 2-vehicle crash at about 8 p.m. Saturday at the intersection of County Road 466 and Morris Boulevard, according to the arrest report of Sumter County Sheriff's Office. A witness told the deputies that Laureate was northbound on Morris Boulevard when he ran a red light and collided with a southbound Hyundai as it turned left from Morris Boulevard. After the collision, the witness ran toward Laureate's Mustang and found him unconscious and slumped forward. EMS personnel arrived on the scene and treated injuries to his head and left hand. After he got out of the vehicle, he lost his balance and nearly fell over. The native New Yorker indicated he had been at the Havana Recreation Center. He also said he had been golfing earlier that day. He admitted he had been drinking. A cup was found in his vehicle and it contained a liquid that was determined to be liquor. Deputies invited him to participate in field sobriety exercises. I'm going to pass on that because I already know I had a few too many, Lori had said. He agreed, provided breath samples which registered 0.173 and .166 blood alcohol content. A criminal history check revealed that Laureate has 2 previous convictions for driving under the influence. He was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence and booked at some kind of detention center. He was released after posting a $5,000 bond. Both vehicles had to be towed from the scene. A villager was arrested on a drunk driving charge after driving the wrong way in traffic. Janine Shepard Irwin, 62, of the village of Water's Edge, was found at about 9 p.m. Sunday standing next to a black Nissan Rogue, which was facing south in the northbound lane of travel at the intersection of County Road 101 and Wedgwood Lane, according to an arrest report of the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. When a deputy approached Irwin, a strong odor of alcoholic beverage was detected. Wedgwood Lane and all that's up there by the Southern Trace Shopping Plaza. She agreed to participate in field sobriety exercises, but her poor performance led deputies to conclude she had been driving impaired. The Georgia native provided breath samples that registered .177 and .186 blood alcohol content. She was arrested on a charge of driving under the influence and booked at the Sumter County Detention Center. She was released after posting a $200 bond. A targeted study of identification will take place in the coming weeks at pools in the villages, even as Recreation Director John Rohan continues to insist that outsiders taking an unauthorized dip are virtually non-existent. Rohan is ramping up a multi-week study that will continue through early December. The pools where the ID checks will be taking place are not being named in advance so that no one is tipped off prior to the start of the study. The checks will be taking place at 4 pools in the north and 4 pools in the south. So I guess if you're in the middle, you don't count. North of what? South of what? The idea is to put boots on the ground, check IDs, and find out what's going on. Rohan told members of the Amenity Authority Committee in a meeting this week at Savannah Center. However, Rohan continues to stand by previous data that shows non-resident use of pools are rare. We are not seeing any misuse of pools at any location, Rohan said. He has also faced criticism for conducting a study in November and December. AAC member Don Deacon said that summer is the peak of season for pool usage. I am concerned about the time frame for the pool study, Deacon said. When we do a road traffic study, we don't do that in the summer months. Rohan indicated that the AAC and the project-wide advisory committee appeared to be applying pressure to initiate the study. There was a sense of urgency to capture the data, Rohan said. He also pushed back on the notion that this is somehow the slow season in the villages. Our amenities are being widely used during the influx of seasonal residents. Rohan said participation is high. AAC Chair Donna Kempa agreed. Thanksgiving is right in the middle of this, so it's a good time, she said. The study will require 280 hours of recreation department staff time. Part-time employees picking up additional hours will be doing the check of the IDs during the study. AAC member Richard Reb Benson noted the cost will be about $4,000. Now, that phone number you see above me up here, if you guys read that phone number above me here is not the same phone number that I use for you to call in to me and leave a voicemail about a question or a concern. That is Rohan's office. That is the Parks and Recreation's office number up there. You know, you're welcome to leave any kind of a comment you want to on letters to the editor and things like that, but I'm here to tell you, letters to the editor gets nowhere. You need to call the offices and flood them with phone calls if you've got a particular problem and make them do what they got to do. That phone number up there is the one you need to call and leave your comments and leave your concerns. That's the only way to get through them. That being said, my comment is this. I have no idea how many pools are being invaded. I have no idea how many outsiders are actually taking advantage of it. I know people talk about it, and I don't doubt their word at all, but you got to prove it, and I don't know that you're going to be able to do it. So with that, I have to take his word for it, and you'll have to take his word for it. I can just hope that the study they do is honest and forthright. That's all I ask. A villager wearing a pair of camouflage Crocs allegedly keyed a Mercedes in a parking lot dispute at Publix. Mark Edward Brittenham, 68, of the village of Charlotte, was arrested Monday at his home at 959 Bieber Court on a felony charge of criminal mischief. A 79-year-old man had been trying to park his gray 2023 Mercedes C300 on the afternoon of October 21 at Publix at Colony Plaza, according to the arrest report from the Sumter County Sheriff's Office. A black Audi had been backing out of a parking space, and the Mercedes driver pulled around him, apparently angered that the Audi driver honked his horn. The Mercedes driver went into the store and emerged about 30 minutes later to find that his driver's side door had been keyed. Damage was estimated at $2,000. Surveillance showed that the Audi driver had gone into Publix liquor store at Colony. He was wearing a camouflage shirt, shorts, and camouflage Crocs. Well, it all matched. The surveillance also showed the Audi driver getting out of his vehicle and walking near the Mercedes while it was parked. A deputy found Brittingham's 2024 Audi in the database. He cross-checked Brittingham's driver's license and found that the driver's license photo matched the man caught on surveillance at Publix. The deputy went to Brittingham's neighborhood and showed surveillance images to a neighbor. The neighbor identified the man in the surveillance as Brittingham. The deputy went to Brittingham's house and took him into custody. He was wearing a camouflage shirt. He was booked at the Sumter County Detention Center and released after posting a $2,500 bond. I'm going to read this. It's really just a bad parking picture, but there's a little story that went with it, and I just want to show you just how silly this is. A bad handicap parking job left a fellow motorist in a situation that was too close for comfort. The driver returned to the parking lot and found that a car parked in handicap parking did not leave her enough room to get in through her driver's door. She had to climb through the passenger side. And look at that picture, how close she parked there. Almost crossed the white line. I mean, it's crazy. There's no sense in that. It's just nuts. But keep in mind, we don't know that that person that's parked nuts right there even lives here. It could be an outsider. Everything here is open to the public. And let's see what our neighbors over at Spruce Creek are doing. A resident of Spruce Creek South was arrested after crashing a golf cart near Walmart with a blood alcohol level 4 times the legal limit. Deputy got a call regarding 73-year-old Jane Hiru, who seemed to be intoxicated driving a red golf cart in Summerfield at 6:10 p.m. Saturday, according to the arrest report from the Marion County Sheriff's Office. A few minutes later, they got another call saying she crashed less than a half a mile north of Walmart, located at 17961 South U.S. Highway 441. A deputy later found her sitting on the grass next to her golf cart, which had a broken front axle and destroyed tires on the right side. It looked like she misjudged the left turn and struck a tall curb on the right side. When speaking to her, he noticed that she had extremely bloodshot, watery eyes. She could not focus very well on the deputy of what he asked her. He wanted to know if she was okay, and she stated she was. Just a little drunk, the report said. I rest my case, Your Honor. Rose said she had drank wine earlier but could not say when it was. She stated she had 2 glasses of wine, yet contradicted herself for the rest of the conversation. Her answers to the deputy's questions often did not make any sense due to her mumbling, slurring her words, and just giving nonsensical responses, the report said. The deputy then asked if she had her license and could give it to him. She said yes to both, but stared blankly at him. He had to remind her that he needed her license before she finally went through her sling bag for it, the report said. He immediately saw her license through a clear sleeve in the bag, but she went through several other cards rather than give it to him. She first handed him a printed motorcycle insurance card and a AAA roadside assistance card, neither of which looked anything like a license. She had to ask again what he wanted until she handed him the license at long last. Hero was next asked to participate in field sobriety exercises. She agreed, but had great difficulty trying to stand up. She swayed back and forth, and once she actually did stand. She took 1 half step, only to fall backwards onto her buttocks in the grass. The deputy decided to join her on the ground to do the first exercise sitting down. He then walked her over to the patrol car and helped her into a sitting position on the bumper to recite the alphabet. He stated her highest level of education was a high school diploma before skipping letters H through V. That's a lot of letters. In her recitation, claiming she did not learn that. You didn't learn the alphabet? For the rest of the exercises, she did not follow instructions and swayed dangerously. Her road's performance led the deputy to conclude that she was under the influence, and he arrested her for it. A subsequent search for a golf cart revealed 3 unopened black box personal cartons of wine in her passenger area. Each carton advertised on a side that it was equal to 3.4 glasses of wine. Hero ultimately provided 2 breath samples of .290 and .296, which is almost 4 times the legal limit. The Massachusetts Amenity was charged with DUI, damage to property or person of another, and transported to Marion County Jail. She was released after posting a $2,000 bond. I'd have just kept her there and let her sleep it off. Well, let's see how many holes in ones of golf do we get this week. Looks like we got 2. A golfer got his first hole-in-one after living in the Villages for 21 years. Richard Parenteau scored the lucky ace at hole number 6 at Redfish Run Executive Golf Course using a pitching wedge. Well, congratulations, Rich. Appreciate you getting your first hole-in-one after 21 years. It's about time, ain't it? Lisa Houston of the Marbella Villas got her second hole-in-one on Sunday, November the 9th, at hole number 3 at the Oakley Executive Golf Course. She scored the lucky ace at 68 yards using a pitching wedge. She got her first hole-in-one on October 12 at hole number 1 at the El Diablo Executive Golf Courses at 82 yards using a 7-iron. Well, congratulations on your 2 holes-in-one there, Lisa. That's 2 more than I've ever gotten in my whole life. Life sometimes ain't fair. But congratulations on your hole-in-one, Lisa. I hope you get more. Okay, let's do a couple letters to the editor. To the editor, we have been patients of the Villages Health System for 7 years. We have the United Healthcare Advantage Plan. Now that Humana has bought the Villages Health System and they renamed it to Centerwell, they say that they have not yet reached an agreement with United Healthcare for them to be a participating insurer. They won't know until after the first of the year. December 7th ends the period in which we can change our insurance if needed. Seems very clear that Humana is trying to force 55,000 people to switch to their insurance from United Healthcare. From what I've been able to see, it would be at a higher cost. It looks as though this was all planned right from the very beginning as soon as Humana became an accepted insurer at the Villages Health. Governor DeSantis, we need help. The manipulation of 55,000 people in the Villages area needs to be stopped. That's sent in by Earl Watt from Spruce Creek South. Well, Earl, I agree. Is crazy to me in a retirement community. So this is what drives me nuts is how we're being manipulated. They steal money. I mean, that's what I'm going to say. Somewhere this $300 some million disappeared. We don't know where it went. We don't know anything. Nobody is saying anything. But Earl, I do agree with you. I don't have no answers to anybody. I've got a lot of emails about this, and I'm sure a lot of other YouTubers has too. I guess we're all sitting here waiting for somebody to tell us what we're going to do. I'm going to have words with my friend, the medical expert, and we'll see what he says or does. They've been doing a lot of talking about it on my Discord page. I have no idea. I'm with you guys. I'm in United Healthcare. I'm on the Advantage Plan. Everybody knows that. I don't hide it. I don't really want to change either, but I got to tell you, I'm more upset with the Villages Health System for allowing this to even happen. I'm more upset with the Villages System and the developer and his companies for allowing a guy like Trend being the CEO and not doing any investigations whatsoever. I don't even know why Trend's even here. Why isn't he fired? I don't get it. That's the way it is, ain't it? To the editor, I am at the pool 4 out of 7 days a week in the summer months. I personally spoke with a few of the outsiders. They usually stay in the water knowing they won't be checked for an ID. Summertime is when they need to have the pools checked, and anybody in the water should be made to get out and show it as they belong there. Doing your week-long check in November and December is ridiculous. Not too many people swimming in the winter months. That's sent in by Connie Robertson from the village of Lake Deaton. Well, yes and no, Connie. You say nobody goes to the pool in the winter months. I don't think whether it's winter months or summer months has anything really to do with it. It kind of does, but it kind of don't. It's all about temperature. If it's 85 degrees outside in December, people are going to go to the pool. If it's 85 degrees in the summer, people are going to go to the pool. So I don't think that summer-winter thing has much to do with it. Somewhat. I don't know anything about it. I don't know how they planned it. I don't know who planned it or who's in charge of it other than Rohan. And Rohan has a boss. Remember that. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Okay, I think that's going to be it for this week. I do appreciate all of you, as always, for coming to any of my videos and shows and watching them, because that's what makes the channels grow, and that's what makes the channels work. If you don't watch, and if the channels don't grow, that's what makes a channel disappear. In case you've ever wondered, whatever happened to so-and-so? You didn't watch. Whatever happened to so-and-so over here? Well, his channel wasn't growing, or you weren't watching, and so they just quit. If you like to watch RV stuff, I started a new RV channel because my other one was stolen. I'm still in arguments with YouTube and Google about this. I said, you can keep the channel. I don't care about the channel. I want my videos back. And that's what I'm arguing about, because that's my personal property. I want it. And actually, the words that I used with them was, I demand it. How far will that go? I don't know. I mean, this is customer service nowadays, right? We're doing business with people we can't see, we can't talk to, and they're in the other side of the world somewhere. So anyway, it's called Skip and Sue RV Travels. Skip and Sue RV Travels. It's in the description box below, or you can just type it in your YouTube thing there and you'll see it pop up. There ain't that many videos on there right now. I don't even know how many's on there. I put a few on there that I've got, and I just finished up the last video for the North Dakota trip. It'll take a couple weeks for all them to come out, but there's like 2 coming out every week for a while. Go subscribe to the RV channel. That helps out a lot. Subscribe, tell your friends. There's a share button below. Hit that share button, put it on your social media. Get them to come and watch it. That's what keeps this channel going. And if I can get any of you, you see my sponsors pops up here, pops up over here. If you can support any of my sponsors, I'd appreciate it. And they would appreciate it. And I appreciate you appreciating them because they sponsor me. And I appreciate all that. And if you'd like to sponsor any of my stuff, let me know. Send me an email. I'll tell you a really easy and cheap way to advertise here on my channel. I come up with a solution that's easy peasy, and it doesn't take a lot of anything really. But I can talk to you. I'll call you on the phone, or you can email me back and forth, and we'll work out exactly what you want or exactly what I'm willing to do. So do that. Let me know. Nova Filters is one of my sponsors. Everybody in the villages knows Nova Filters. The old man lives here. His son lives here. And if you want to get a water filtration system for your house, a whole house water filtration system and some add-on things, we recently had I'll call it the water softener, but it kind of is and kind of ain't. But anyway, we just had that added on. You can ask Sue on porch sitting what she thinks about it, but I'm happy with it. Everything's clean. Water smells good. It tastes good. We have no problem at all. It's quiet. It doesn't make any noises. Support my sponsors when you can. Ira Miller, he sponsors my channel. If you're looking to buy a home, especially a pre-owned home here, Ira's my choice for you. He's about as honest as a day is long. He knows more about the villages than the village people themselves. And that's a fact. He can tell you, he'll find out what it is you want to spend, what you're looking for, what you want to be near. And right away, he's going to get a picture in his mind, and he's going to load you up, and he's going to take you around, and he's going to show you some things that maybe you never even thought of. I highly recommend Ira Miller. Cruise people. That's a new one sponsor we got, that they set up cruises. I think we're doing a cruise with them sometime February. So if you're interested in doing any kind of a cruise, or I'm not sure if I do other kind of trip plannings or not, truthfully. But anyway, they're in there. The phone numbers are on it. Their emails are on it. Email them, call them. Tell them you got the information off my channel. I'd appreciate it. They'd appreciate it. And they'll continue sponsoring me. So now that we got all that out of the way, I just simply want to say I hope you guys are having a great time. This is that time of year here in Florida that I think is the best time in Florida. 75, 80 degrees. Humidity's really, really low. But it's also the worst time in Florida. Snowbirds are coming back. Traffic gets worse. Restaurants get crowded. And everybody tries to get caught up on some yard work they're wanting to do. And so work trucks are in and out of your neighborhood literally all day long, kind of a nuisance of all this stuff going on. It creates a disturbance, a big one. It's just life in the villages. It's in a retirement community. You move into a house. If you think it's all done and over, you are so wrong. So with that being said, I'm just going to say, be well, stay safe, stay alert, be aware.
And don't leave your key in that golf cart.
This week's news is brought to you by my YouTube and Patreon members.